Mmm. Hey, Mitchell, how you doing? Mmm. Oh, boy. Let's begin indeed. Hello, people. This is LukeJ62895 speaking. Welcome to a brand new episode of Friday's LukeJ62895. Excuse me, I have to eat my leftover creation that Mom gave me from dinner last night, you know. And then I will get you topics from 2 episodes of the show, okay? Mm. 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 I'm sure I missed him. Yeah, I agree. Josh, I cannot believe Stanley died either. It's just shocking to me. Mm. Mm. Back, guys. Sorry, I was eating some creation, and with that in mind, I'm going to save some water for now. Part of it can be now, part of it later, I don't know. Oh, I can't breathe at this point. Excuse me. Anyway, let's go on the show now. We got the passing these 3 people. Gwen Ifill, we got Malcolm Young, and Stan Lee. I'm gonna be doing the game segments right after in the next episode. But for now, yummy food. Sorry, I can't talk today because I'm in the middle of trying to get some talking in the moment. But you know, let me see here. Okay, people can hear me very well. There we go. Got it. Anyway, let me just get myself a water and we'll get started. Excuse me. Oh, man. Anyways, moving on. Right now we're going to talk about Gwen Ifill's death. It happened 2 years ago, this past Wednesday. Oh, come on, really? Anyway. Goes by the name of Gwen Ifill. And she passed away, on November 14th, 2016, was an American Peabody Award winning journalist, television newscaster, and author. Excuse me. In 1999, she became the first woman of African descent to host a nationally televised U.S. public affairs program with Washington Weekly Review. Okay, that's cool enough. She was a managing editor of Washington Week, and co-managing editor with Judy Woodruff on PBS NewsHour, which air on PBS. Ifill was a political analyst on moderated the 2008 vice presidential debates. Excuse me, burped it in my face. Like, oh my God, help me out here. She authored the best-selling book, The Breakthrough: Politics and Race in the Age of Obama, which she did in 2009, but Ifill was born in the Queens neighborhood of Jamaica in New York City, the fifth of six children of African minority abolishes AME minister Oliver Urshel Ifill Sr. Panamanian and Barbadian descent who emerged from Panama, and Emma Ifill, who was from Barbados. Her father's ministry requires the family to live in the several cities in New England and on the eastern seaboard during her youth, where she pastored AME churches. As a child, she lived in the Pennsylvania and Massachusetts church percentage and fairly subsidized housing in Buffalo, New York City. She graduated in 1977 with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications from Simmons College and Women's College in Boston, Massachusetts. The top 10 is finished. Now I'm gonna let my Mac cool down before today's Vlog Weekly episode. That's cool. That's cool. Career. While at Simmons College, Ifill interned into the Boston American. One day at work, she discovered a note under the desk that reads, I'm not gonna say the N word. Well, go home. But, you know, I was showing the note to editors at the newspaper who were horrified that offended her a job. She was graduating from the college in 1977. Okay, that's cool enough. I have a close friend, Michelle Norris, said that Ifill said that it was very unfortunate, but I have it work to do, and that's how she got a job. She didn't get a job out of Symphony. Um, she got the job before because she didn't let that slow her down. Okay. I went on to work for the Baltimore Evening Sun from 1981 to 1984, aired for the Washington Post from 1984 to 1991. She left the Post after being told she wasn't ready to be covering Capitol Hill, but was hired at the New York Times when she discovered the White House in 1981 to 1984. Her first job in television was on NBC when she was the network's Capitol Hill reporter in 1984. In October 1999, she became the moderator of the PBS program Washington Week Review, the first black woman to host a national public talk show on television. She was a senior correspondent for PBS NewsHour. Ifill appeared on the various news shows, including Meet the Press. Well, bud, I'm going to have one more new topic on Vlog Weekly. Since you're doing triple episode of your show today. Well, actually, there gonna be 2 episodes of the show, by the way. Not 3. There is a tribute part 1 and 2, not a 3. So just want to let you know about that, Matt Palmer. By the way, Rotten Tomatoes is giving Property Breaks the Internet 93% rating. Okay, that's cool enough. Face the Nation, Colbert Report, Charlie Rose, Inside Washington, and David Flammy Show, whatever. In November 2008, she co-hosted the Jamestown Live, an occasional webcast commemoration the 400th anniversary of Jamestown, Virginia. Okay? Ifill served on the boards of the Harvard Institute of Politics, committee to preserve journalists, the Museum of Television and Radio, and the University of Maryland's Merrill College of Journalism. 2004-2008 Vice Presidential Debates. On October 5th, 2004, I moderated the Vice Presidential debate between the Republican Vice President Dick Cheney and the dominant candidates in the U.S. Senator for North Carolina, John Edwards. Our course described the causes that Ifill acquitted herself well as moderator. She was the first black woman to moderate a vice presidential debate. Okay? That was a great score. Disney had 2 great year of movies like Incredibles 2, Chris Robin, and Route Breaks the Internet. Yeah, I agree. Especially I would love to see the Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know? On October 2nd, 2008, and between the discovered U.S. Senator from Delaware, Joe Ben, and the Republican General of Alaska, Sarah Palin, at Washington University in St. Louis, okay? The debates format for Ifill were free up to cover the Hispanic, okay, and international issues. Before the 2008 debate, Ifill's javishly was questioned by conservative talk radio, blogs, cable news programs, and some independent media analysts. Becoming her book, Breakthrough the Republican Race in the Age of Obama, which was scheduled to be released on Graduation Day 2009. Yeah, which is great and all, but whose content has not been disclosed the debate combinations of our or the campaigns. The book was not mentioned in the Washington Times and appeared at trains categorized in early July 2008. Which, before Eiffel was selected to be by the debate communities. Sorry about the communities. Sorry, Marcus moment. Sorry. Several analysts view Eiffel's book as created as confidence of interest, including the Kelly McBride Poirier Institute for Media Studies, who said obviously the book was to be much more valuable of her if Obama is elected. John McCain, the Republican presidential nominee, said it was an interview with Fox News Channel. I think she'll be a totally objective job because she is a highly respected professional. Okay. As about the forthcoming book, McCain responded, "Does this help?" And she has written a book that's favorable to Senator Obama. Probably not. But I'm convinced that Gwen Ifill will do a perfect job. Professional job. Sorry. To critics, Ifill responded, I got a pretty long track record covering politics and news. So I'm not partially worried that one day blog Kachara is going to be destroyed my pollination, okay? The proof is in the pudding. They could watch the debate tomorrow, right? Night, something like that. They're making their own decisions about whether or not I'm done my job. After the debate, Eiffel received praise for the performance. The Boston Globe reported that she received high marks and pretty equal treatment for candidates. Eiffel narrations of the debates won pop culture coalitions when the debates were parodied Saturday Night Live when Queen Latifah portrayed Eiffel. The PBS Honest Man, which Michael Gerger twice wrote about letters he received complaints of bias of Eiffel's news coverage. He dismissed combinations that Eiffel appeared in subsequently in whatever that means, about Sarah Palin's speech about the 2008 Republican national combinations. And concluded that Eiffel has played a solid and, in my view, central role PBS coverage of both conventions. No one ever assumed a white reporter that can't cover a white candidate, Gwen Ifill said. In September 2011, Ifill was a prisoner in the 22nd News and Documentary Emmy Awards. This is good. In August 6, 2013, News Hour named Eiffel and Julie Woodruff as co-anchors and co-managing editors. They shared the anchor duties throughout Monday through Thursday. Woodruff was the sole anchor on Friday. In November 2015, Eiffel was the master of ceremonies in the 2015 LBJ Liberty and Justice for All Award ceremony. It's February 2016. She and Woodruff moderated the debate between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. He's a better president than Trump was. Becoming first team of women to moderate Democratic presidential debate. Okay, good enough. Her published works has to do with Eiffel's books, The Breakthrough, The Politics and Race in the Obama, published on January 20th, 2009, the election day of President Obama. It's good enough. The book focused on the several African American politicians, Obama and other commerce such as Arthur Davis, the manager of Congress, Daniel Patrick, then the governor of Massachusetts, and Cory Booker, then the mayor of New York, New Jersey. The publisher Random House described the book as showing why it's a political moment in American history. Through the interviews of the black power brokers, through Ifill's mariners as an analysis of issues. Okay. The book was a New York Times bestseller. Okay. Honors and awards that she won. I was awarded with Woman in Film and Video Woman of Vision Award 2000. 2004, she received the Gracie Allen Tribute Award from the Foundation for American Women in Television. Who? She awarded the Peabody Award in 2008 for her work in Washington Week. 2009, she was honored for the Person and Man Award by Forbes Hall Forum. Okay. And Harvard University honored her the same year with the Goldsmith Career Award for Lesson in Journalism. The following year, she received the 17th Fred Friendly First Amendment Award from Columbia University. And on February 7, 2011, Ifill was named the honorary member of the Delta Sigma Theta during his 22nd annual Delta Days in Washington, D.C. That's good. That's good. In 2012, Ifill was inducted from the National Association of Black Journalists Hall of Fame. 2014, she was awarded the Al Award for Analyst in Journalism. Her work on PBS Town Hall Special America After Ferguson, her nomination for outstanding host in the talk, reality news, information, and or reality series of special and the 46 AACP Image Awards. Okay, her work on PBS Town Hall. Oh yeah, sorry, I keep mumbling myself. I kept reading like that. November 2015, she accepted the Lifetime Achievement Award for the Women's Media Center, but the annual Women's Media Awards ceremony, she received 4th Ifill Award for the National Press Club in 2015. Okay. Columbia University awarded Ifill the John Clasher Award for the Excellence in Journalism in 2016. But she died 2 days before the scheduled ceremony. Oh man. Ifill received more than 20 honorary donations from universities around the world, including Georgetown University, Smith College, Bates College, and Springboard College. In May 2011, she served as a commencement speaker at Monmouth College. On the 1-year anniversary of her death, November 14, 2017, Ifill's American Spanish Simmons College announced that they were launching a school in 2018, which is extremely exciting, naming it in our honor. As the Gwen Ifill College of Media, Arts, and Humanities. Okay? Her personal life. Ifill attended Marshall, an African Methodist Evangelical Church from 1999 to her until her death in 2016. But she was close to her large extended family. She socialized with Washington Romneys as well as his college colleagues. It was known as supported young journalists. Sharon Ifill, cousin of Gwen, and president and director, consul of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, stated in the funeral service that her cousin represented the most American success stories. In her spare time, Ifill was an avid reader. She was never married, had no children. Ifill had passed away of breast cancer imaginal cancer on November 14th, 2016 at age 61. According to CNN, she spent her final days in Washington, D.C. hospitalized and surrounded by family and friends. On November 14th, the PBS NewsHour showed that Gwen Ifill, who died that Monday in the battle of cancer, it's been all but a token moment by the Daily News to pay tribute to her during the course of the week. Developed into a series of 2 years as well as news hours as When That Bring Gwen. Sarah Just, who I want to know who's Sarah Just, of PBS and WTA TV, called Ifill journalist. President Obama extended her condolences to Ifill's family, saying he will always appreciate her reporting, and even when he was at the receiving end of one of her tough interviews. Speaker of House Paul Ryan expressed his condolences, describing Ifill as an extremely talented and respected journalist. First Lady Michelle Obama was one of the 1,000 mourners who attended Ifill's funeral at the Mashwa and the African Methodist Methodist Church in Washington, D.C. So that's Gwen Ifill's thing. What I think about this talk about Gwen Ifill, it was shocking, I know, but it's just life, But I just think that whenever Gwen passes, 2 years ago, this past Wednesday, it was shocking, I know. And now we have two more to talk about, and we have to sign off and do the next episode of the show, and then we'll do vlog weekly afterwards. Yeah, just want to let you know and everything. But anyway, let's continue on and do Malcolm Young. So let's do that, shall we? Okay. Now that you have Gwen Ifill out of the way, I want to read you Malcolm from AC/DC. Before I do, I'm going to tell you this, okay? There will be no Friday's LukeJ62895 episodes next week, because I have Black Friday shopping to do, and I have no plans to do Atlanta trip that day, nor the following Thanksgiving holiday. But, of course, there will be another episode of Friday's LukeJ625 coming on the 30th day of November, so be prepared. Anyways, without further ado, Malcolm Young. Malcolm Young was a Scottish-American musician and songwriter, best known as a co-founder, rhythm guitarist, backing vocalist, and songwriter for the first hard rock band AC/DC. Except for the brief absence in 1988, he was with the band from the began, 1973 in November, to begin until retiring in 2014 due to health reasons. Young and other members of AC/DC were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003. Both his younger brother Angus was more visible to his brothers. Malcolm described as a driving force and the leader of the band. In 2014, he started to protect despite his retirement from the band. AC/DC was discovered to continue to make music with his blessing. And as a rhythm guitarist, he was responsible to the board sweep and the band's sound. Developing many of the guitar riffs, co-writing band's material Angus. He was married to Olinda Young and had 2 children, Kara and Ross. Young left AC/DC in April of 2014 to receive treatment for dementia. In September of 2014, the band's management announced that he would be retiring permanently. He died from the disease on November 18th, 2017. Now, for that different story. William Young, born on February 16th, 1911, as Mary lived in the same different road, like 6 Road in the current district of Clayville in Scotland. Glasgow in Scotland, yeah. William worked a few first in the wheelboy in the ropes work, and then in the machine saw operator in the Astros Command business. In 1940, William joined the Royal Art Force, serving in the World War II, which, by the way, Robert McNeil, which I've been friends with, he talked about World War II to his father, you know. As a flight engine mechanic. After the war, William was working as a young man for the builder, then the postman. His wife Margaret, born July 14th, 1913. Her maiden name was also young, was a housewife. The Big Freeze of 1963 was one of the worst winters of the record in the UK. With snow 8 feet, 2.4 m deep. A television advertisement showed Britain that at that time offered travel for families to start a different life in Australia. 15 members of the young family left Britain by air in late June 1963, including fifth son George, who passed away the same year, 2017, and younger brothers Malcolm and Angus. Okay, of March 31st, 1955, which, by the way, his birthday's coming up. Like, March of... he'll probably be turning 64 coming up. So excited. All aboard was his older brother Stephen, June 24th, 1933 to 1989. His only sister, Miss Margaret Horsworth, May 2nd, 1945, and brother William Jr., December 15th, 1940, and the eldest brother Alex, of December 28th, 1938 until 1987, staying in UK, was later a member of a London-based group, Grapefruit, okay? Another brother, John Young, born May 17th, 1947, as merged to Australia separately. Okay? Malcolm later described the family's musical background. All the males in our family played Stevie, the oldest playing accordion, and Alex and John were the first couple to play guitar. And being older, it is short and passed down to George, then myself, and then Angus. Okay? And so we stayed in Railwood Marital Hostel, a site later to turn the National Destination Center in Nashville Huts. George John met and became friends with another merchant, Harry Vanda. The young family man moved in a semi-detached house in 4 Burnite Street in the Sydney suburb of Burwood, Australia. Years ago, I have a family in Australia, and I think my grandma Craig used to be born there and moved to America. So there you go on that. Music career. Both Angus and Malcolm Young were in the band with their brother George and his music partner Harry Vanda called Marcus Hawk World Band. The project released an album in Australia called Tales of Old Granddaddy. Malcolm Young played guitar in the 1974 release LV by Stevie Wright. When produced by Harry Vanda and George Young, the song is 11 minutes long and has 3 parts. Young played the guitar solo in part 1 of the song. Malcolm Young was a short-lived Newcastle-based band called the Velvet Underground, not the well-known 1960s band AC/DC. Malcolm Young was 20 when he and his young brother Angus, which was 18 at the time, formed AC/DC in 1983. Okay? Angus was on lead guitar, Malcolm rhythm guitar, Colin Burgers in drums. Didn't realize that. Larry Van Curran on bass guitar, and Dave Evans on vocals. Can I Sit Next to You Girl, their first single, was later recorded with Bon Scott as our lead vocalist. They decided upon the name AC/DC and singing the letters AC/DC in the back of their Sister Margaret's sewing machine. In 1985, AC/DCs have moved to Melbourne. In early 1977, they returned to Britain and began an European tour with Black Sabbath. While Bon Scott was in Aubrey Osborne quickly became friends. Relations with her were less than cordial between their other members of the respective bands. In one incident, Geezy Butler pulled a knife on Malcolm. Really? Just really? Moving on. Towards the end of 1977, bassist Mark Evans was fired, purportedly to find someone who could sing backup vocals. Evans described disagreement with Angus Malcolm as a guitarist factor. He was replaced by Cliff Williams. In 1988, Young missed the boundaries of AC/DC's Blow Up Your Video World Tour to address alcohol abuse issues. He eventually became sober and returned to the band. During his absence, he was replaced by his nephew Stevie Young. After illness and death. Okay. Now we got 4 views now. Okay. At the conclusion of the Black Eyes World Tour, Malcolm was diagnosed with lung cancer. He was treated at the early stage, so surgery was surgery and the cancer was removed. He was also had Spy's heart problem and had a pacemaker. In April of 2014, Young became seriously ill and was able to continue performing. On April 16th, 2014, AC/DC released a note stating that Young will be taking a break from the band due to ill health. However, singer Brian Johnson stated that despite early reports, AC/DC are not retiring. I maybe agree. We're definitely getting together in May in virtual. We're not going to pick up guitars. We're going to pick up the guitar, sorry. We're having a punk to see if anybody has the great tunes and ideas. If anything happens, we'll record it. In July, Johnson received the Young was in the hospital receiving treatment for unexpected condition. During May, recording sessions have been replaced in the studio by guitarist Stevie Young, his nephew. On September 24th, 2014, the band's management announced that Young would not be rejoining the band. Stevie Young will continue to fill in for this Malcolm on the band 2015's Welcome Bus World Tour. On September 26, 2014, the Sydney Morning Herald reported that Young has been diagnosed with dementia and had admitted in a nursing home where he could receive full-time care. A source, of course, to Young was quoted in the article saying that he had complete loss of short-term memory. Okay. That's sad. Young's family reported 4 days later that he has dementia, saying that Young is suffering from dementia, and the family thanks you for respecting their privacy. In screening interviews, Angus stated that his brother was experiencing lapse in memory and the conclusion that before the Black Eyes project has been receiving treatment during the Black Eyes World Tour, which ended in 2010, which is my 15th birthday at the time. Angus confirmed that although his brother does not play on the 2014 Rocket Bus album, he likes his music, but we're sure he has his Chuck Berry and little Buddy Holly. He added that AC/DC will continue according to his brother's wishes and standards. Look, even when of his health, Malcolm was torn until he couldn't do it anymore. In that same interview, Angus would state that Malcolm was rehearsing AC/DC songs repeatedly before every concert would just remember how they went. In an interview with Guitar Player about Malcolm's young songwriting credits in Rocket Bus, which bits and pieces I call it, Angus stated Miles kept doing the way he could until he couldn't do it anymore. But I have the material he was working on, but there's a lot of rips, ideas, and bits of choruses. Okay? I filled things to see how we have a song. Every album we have done has been that way. There's always a bit from the past, and a bit from the what we have been brand new, and sometimes just no idea that either Malcolm or myself have worked on, but we never finish. The songwriting process didn't really change, except that for the fact that Mal wasn't pivotal there. So when it comes to writing and putting stuff together, I have Stevie there with me. You see, Malcolm was always a great organizer. He always kept track of the stuff that we were writing together. He recorded it, dated it, and making notes in my records. If you can't call him out, I was always correct. So this time, Stevie helped me organize a lot what was there. This is shocking. I know. Young died from the disease on November 18th, 2017, at the age of 64, at Rose House in the Ipswich Bay. His funeral was held in St. Mary's Cathedral, Sydney, in November 18th, 2017. Young's elder brother George Young died a few weeks before him, on October 22nd, 2017. Oh man, legacy and influences. Influenced by 1950s rock and roll and blues based rock guitarists by the 1960s and 70s, Young was regarded rock influenced by rhythm guitar. Guitar Player magazine stated that the secrets of Young's guitar technique was playing open chords below a series of Marshall amplifiers. Low volume with low no gain. Okay, this is temporary with a common belief of many rock guitars that rhythm guitar should involve loud and overdriven power chords with large amplifiers. Dan McShane of the Megadeth stated in possible interview that he had considered himself young and Ralph Scharniger, Marcus Mullman, sorry. I'm not going to say the N-word, sorry. And James Hetfield of Metallica, to be the best rhythm guitarist in the world. In 2006, he was the best subject of the song and album by the Australian punk rock band, first of all, Raw. Forever Malcolm Young, which is good. 2017, Grish's guitars reissues. Grish G613 1 MY, essential guitar based on Young's modified 1963 Grish Jet Firebird, which is good for Malcolm. So there you go. Rest in peace, Malcolm. Now I'm going to continue on and move on with the last one, which is going to be about Stan Lee, and we're going to wrap up the episode right here and do the last one. Slow down, bud. You're reading too fast. Reasons I have to read too fast because It's just I like Robin and Jim. That's what it was. This is what a difference from that, you know. I'm just saying, Matt Palmer. So that's what I'm doing. You know, just saying. But anyway, Stan Lee was an American comic book writer, editor, and publisher who was active in the 1940s, 2010s. He rose through the ranks of family-run business and became Marvel Comics' prominent creative leader to 2 decades, leading its expansion from the small divisions of a publishing house to the multimedia corporation that dominated the comics industry. That's good. That's good. Collaborations with others in Marvel. Publishing co-writers artists, Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. He co-created Marvel's population visual characters, including superheroes like Spider-Man, and the X-Men, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk, and Fantastic Four, and Black Panther, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, and Ant-Man. In doing so, he pioneered a more non-realistic approach to writing superhero comics in the 1960s. In the 1970s, he challenged the resources of the comic code's authority. He directly leaned the changes in the politics, some Marcus moment, sorry. In the 1980s, he purged development of the Marvel publishing of media, which makes results. I know, but it's tough even though I made mistakes, which I do by topics, even though when I read about some things, yeah. So how would you know and everything? Okay. Where was I? Following his retirement from Marvel in the 1990s, he remained a public figurehead for the company. He frequently made cameo appearances in movies made some Marvel characters, in which he received an honorary executive producer credit. Meanwhile, he continued independently creative ventures in the 90s until his death in 2018. He clearly was inducted into the comic books industry. Will Eisner's Award Hall of Fame in 1984, and the Kirby Hall of Fame in 1985, the year I was born in, and he received the EA's National Media of Arts 2008, sorry. Marcus moment. There's a lot to read in the book, on the story, but I'll just skip over the, okay, where was I? Okay, the sorceries, okay, moving on. There we go. Early life. Stan Lee was born, Stanley Martin Lieber, on December 28th, 1922, in Manhattan, New York City, in the apartment of his Roman-born Jewish American parents, George Noitney Solomon and Jack Wheelbar, at the corner of West 98th Street at West End Avenue in Manhattan. His father trained him as a dress color, trained as a dress color workers only partly after the Great Depression, which is sad, I know. Bits and pieces, I know. And the family moved further upon the 4th Washington Avenue in the Washington Heights, Manhattan. Lee only had one younger brother named Larry Lee Weber, something like that. He said in 2006 that as a child he was influenced by books and movies. Poetry vows are with Flynn playing heroic roles. By the time Lee was in his teens, the family was living in an apartment of 720 University Avenue in the Bronx. Lee described him like as a 4-4 apartment that facing the outback. Lee was in the brother, shared a bedroom, while their parents slept in a fold-out couch. Okay? Strange enough. Lee attended DeWitt Glen High School in the Bronx. In his youth, Lee enjoyed writing and entertaining dreams of the one-day writing in the great American novel. Okay. He said that in his youth, he's working several such part-time jobs as writing authorities for the news or service and press releases. Okay, for the National Tuberculosis Center, delivering sandwiches for the Jack May Promenade for the office in the Rockefeller Center, working an office boy for a trucker manufacturer, ushering Rockefeller Fear on Broadway and selling subscriptions for the New York Herald Tribune newspaper. He graduated from high school early, age 16 and a half, in 1949, same year Wizard of Oz came out. Okay? And joined the WPA Federal Fear Project. Okay? Early career. With the help of his uncle, Robbie Silverman, Lee became an instant in 1949 in new Tommy Comics division of Pulp magazine. The comic book publisher Martin Guzman's company. Timely in the 1960s, he would become involved into Marvel Comics. Lee was cousin Jean, was Goodman's wife, was formerly hired by Tommy editor Joe Simon. Excuse me. His duties was part at first. In those days, the artist dipped the pen in ink. Strange enough. So I have to make this sure the inkwells were filled. We recall 2009. I went down and got their lunch. They proofread, raised the pencils from the finished pages from them. Marshalling from his childhood. Imagined to be a writer, Stanley Leobar made his comic book debut for the text layer. Captain America Fools the Traitors Revenge. In Captain America Comics number 3, cover dated May 1941, using a Freudian, whatever the word means, Stan Lee, which years later he would adopt his legal name. Lee later explained that his biography numbers of other sources that has become below sources social studies of comic books. He was so embarrassed that he used a pen name that nobody would associate his real name with comics. Then he someday wrote the great American novel. Okay. That social story also introduced Captain America's trademark Earthly shield toss. He graduated from the writing revealed to actual comics to a backup feature, headline Hunter, Frederick corresponded. 2 issues later, Lee's first superhero creation was a Destroyer, Image Comics number 6, August 1941. Other characters he co-created during this period, fans or historians call the Golden Age of comic books, include Jack Frost, which is amazing, debuted in the USA Comics number 1 on August 1941. And Father Time, which is debuted in Captain America's Comics number 6 in August 9, 1941. Oh, man. When Simon and his characters created partner, Jack Derby left late in 1941, following the spirit of Guzman, something like that. 30-year-old publisher installed Lee, then just put 19-year-old as editor. Youngster showed a knack for the business that led him to remain as the comic book division's editor-in-chief, as well as art director for much at the time until 1972. In which he could receive Goodman as a publisher. Lee entered the U.S. Army in the early 1942 and served within the U.S. as a member of the Signal Corps, repairing telegraph poles, okay, and other communications equipment. He was later transferred to the trained film division, where he worked writing manuals, trade films, slogans, and obviously cartooning, yeah. His military qualifications, he said, was playwright. He adds that only 9 men in the U.S. Army was given him that title. Vincent Fago, editor of Tom Lee's animated comic section, was put in the humor and funny animal comics throughout until Lee returned from his World War II military service. In 1945, Lee was certain that the Senate Corps American National Association and was given the opportunity membership in the second battalion of third. Oh, come in.
I made you some ramen, and there's a ham and cheese sandwich in there by the microwave, and a Jello cup. Okay.
Okay, I'm in the middle of the episode right now.
Okay, I'll just let you know where it's at.
Okay. Okay. Association was given honorary membership of the 2nd Battalion and 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment. My father's 61st birthday was last week. Tell your father I say happy birthday to your father, you know. Okay. Lee was taken up, okay, sorry, I skipped some, you know. Membership, okay. Out of Joint Base, Lewis McCord at the 2017 Emerald City Comic Con for this poor service. Okay, I kept reading too much, but moving on. In the mid-1950s, by which time the company was now Gary known as Alice Comics, Lee wrote stories in the variety of genres, including romance, westerns, human, science fiction, medical adventure, horror, and suspense. In the 50s, Lee teamed up with his comic book colleague Dan DiCaro to produce the syndicated newspaper strip of My Friend Irma, based on the radio comedy starring Murray Wilson. By the end of the decade, Lee had become dissatisfied with his career and quit the field. Okay, it's cool enough. Marvel Revolution in the 1950s, late 1950s. Sorry, DC Comics editor Julius gotta read too much of this. Schwartz revived the superhero archetype and experienced a social success with his updated version of The Flash, the later super team of the Justice League of America. In the response, publisher Martin Guzman assigned Lee to come up with a new superhero team. Lee's wife suggested that he experiences with stories he preferred, since he was planning on changing his careers and have nothing to lose. Lee acted on the event, giving their superheroes a fall of humanity, okay? Changing them from the ideal archetypes that were typically written for preteens. That's good. Before this, most of these superheroes were evidently perfect people and were no serious, lasting pretty problems. Lee's introduced complex, natural characters who had bad tempers. Fits were becomingly vastly they biggered among themselves. Worry about paying their bills and impressing girlfriends, which is sad. I know. Got bored wearing someone perpetually ill. first superheroes lead artists to get January created together were the Fantastic Four. Based on the previous Kirby superhero team, conjunction with a unknown published by DC Comics, which is good. The team's immense popularity led Lee and Marvel Illustrators to produce a collection of new titles. Again, working with Kirby, Lee produced created the Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, the X-Men, with Bill Everett, Daredevil, and with Steve Carell and Doctor Strange. Marvel's most successful character, Spider-Man, all the world he lived in the for a successful universe. Lee and Kirby scattered several and the newly created characters together in the team titled The Avengers, which is good. And one received revived characters in the 1940s, such as some Myers and Captain America. That was a good thing. Comics historian Peter Sanderson wrote that in the 1960s, DC was encouraging in the big Hollywood studios after brilliance of DC and reinvention of superhero in the late 50s, early 60s. It had run the creative drought by the decade's end. There was a new audience for the comics now, and was it just little kids that currently had read books. The Marvel of the 1960s was in their own way the counterpart in the French New Wave. Marvel was pioneering new manners of comics, storytelling, and characterizations, addressing more serious themes, and in process keeping the attractions readers and the teens and beyond. Moreover, among the new generation of readers were people who wanted to write or draw comics themselves, within the new style that Marvel pioneered to push their career envelope further. Okay, Lee's revelation extended beyond the characters and storylines to which they comic books engaged their leadership and built a sense of community between fans and creators. He introduced the patches and the verse. He introduced the credit panel and the splash page of each story. Naming not just the writer and penciler, but also the inker and the letterer. Regular news and Marvel's staff members and upcoming storylines was presented in the bulletins page, which like the letters Collins and that appear in each title, which written in the friendly chase style. Lee remarked that his goal was for fans to make the comments, creators, and fans and friends. Sorry, and considered as a mark of success, and this front that at the time were letters to other comics publishers were typically addressed as Dear Editor. Letters to Marvel addressed the careers by first name, Dear Stan or Jack, something like that. By 1967, the brand was well enough encouraged in pop culture. By that March for WBIA radio, AAI radio program that Lee and Kirby a guest was titled "Would You Just Spoil Spider-Man?" Okay, that's good enough. SLC, something like that, whatever you call it. Throughout the 1960s, Lee scripted, art directed, and edited most of the Marvel series, narrated the latest pages, wrote monthly columns called Stan's Soapbox, and wrote endless promotional copy, often signed off with the trademark motto, or something like that, which is also the New York State motto. Okay? The Manhattan to workload and meet deadlines. He used a system that was used previously by comic book studios, but due to Lee's success with it, it becomes known as the Marvel Meta. Typically, Lee's was brainstormed a story with the artists, and then they prepare the break senseless rather than a full script. Okay, based on the service, the artist will fill the obvious number of pages. Okay, by dominating and drawings in the panel storytelling. After the artist torn and penciled pages, Lee would write the sword balloons and captions. This is good. And oversee the lettering and coloring and the fact in which the artist would compilers whose copyright first drafts Lee built upon. Lee recorded messages to the newly formed Mary Marvel Marching Society fan club in 1965. Following Deacon's departure in Marvel in 1966, John Robert Sr. became lead copywriter in Amazing Spider-Man. Within a late year, it overtook Fantastic Four to become the company's top seller. Good enough. Lee's Roman's stories were focused on as much as social and colleagues vibes of the characters they did in Spider-Man's adventures. Stories become more topical, addresses issues such as about Vietnam War, political elections, and student absenteeism, whatever you pronounce it. Sorry, Robbie Robertson introduced in Amazing Spider-Man number 51, August of 1967, was one of the first African American characters in comics to play a serious supporting role. In the Fantastic Four series, legally run by Lee and Kirby, produced may claim storylines and well in these characters that have become consensual to Marvel. Sorry, I had a burp right there. Including the Inhumans, the Black Panther, and the African King, who have been mainstream comics Black's versus Black superhero. That's good. I have to scroll up some more. The story formerly cites Lee Kirby's finest achievements. In the three-part trilogy, they became the Fantastic Four number 48 in March 1966, claiming the racial of crisis comics giant who wanted to devour the planet and inherits the Silver Surfer. The Fantastic Four number 48 was chosen as number 24 in the 100 greatest Marvels of all time, which is good. For Marvel, released in 2001. Editor Robert Greenberger wrote in this introduction the story that as the fourth year of the Fantastic Four came to a close, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby seemed to be only warming up. In retrospect, and it was perhaps the most early period of every monthly title during the Marvel Age, which is good. Comics historian Les Daniels knows that the martial and mathematical, something like that, elements that took over the saga were perfectly suited for the tastes of the young readers in the 1960s. And Lee soon discovered that the story was a favorite of colleagues' campuses. Lee and artist John Buscema launched the Silver Surfer in series 1968 of August. The following year, Lee Gene Colan created the Falcon, first comics, first African American superhero in Captain America, 117 number. In September 1969. Then in 1971, Lee industrially helped reform the Comics Code. Okay. The U.S. Department of Health, Education and Welfare had asked Lee Oh man, to write the comic book story and about the dangers and drugs. Lee complements the two free issue subplot in some Amazing Spider-Man number 96 to 98. So cover dated May to July 1971, in which Peter Parker's best friend becomes an addiction to based drugs, which is sad. No, Comics Code advisory refused to grant and seal because the stories about drug use, the anti-drug context was conducted and for sorry. Are you doing anything for Thanksgiving? Well, I'm not gonna do anything in Atlanta for Thanksgiving, but like I said, I'm gonna be doing something fun in Savannah for Thanksgiving. Just want to let you know, just hang out with family, hang out with Alex Paris, and just doing Black Friday shopping. Just let you know. But anyway, the anti-drug content was courtesy center and environment with Goodman's cooperation and confirmed that the original government requested to give him concurrently. Lee had the story published without the seal. This is sad, no. The comic sold went well, and the Marvel won the prize for its socially conscious efforts. So, okay. CCA successfully outgrew the code with the Department negative version of drugs often harbors new freedoms. I may have to do this on another Jeff Crick review, but for now, do something else. But yeah. We offer also support using comic books to provide some measures of some social community about the real world. Often dealing with racism and bigotry, which is stupid, I know. Send soapbox because besides promoting the upcoming comic book project, also addressing issues of discrimination, and tries and prejudices something like that. Which is stupid, I know. That's just stupid. In 1932, Lee stopped writing monthly comic books to assume the role of publisher. The final issue was Amazing Spider-Man was number 10, 110 number, July 1972. His last was Fantastic Four, number 175, 25, August 1972. Later Marvel years, Lee became a figurehead and public face for Marvel Comics. He made appearances at comic book conventions around America, lecturing colleagues and politicians and paneling discussions. Lee and John Morrison Sr. launched the Spider-Man newspaper comic strip, okay? And on January 3rd, 1977, okay? This is a long story beyond Marvel, okay? Lee's final discoloration, so with Jack Kirby was the silver. The Ultimate Experience was published in 1978 as part of the Marvel Fireside Books series, and it's served to be Marvel's first graphic novel. Wow! Whew! Lee's Incorporations produced the first issue, The Savage Seahawk, in February 1980, which introduced a female cousin of the Hawk. It crafted the Silver Surfer story of the epic Illustrated #1 in spring 1980. He moved to California in 1981 to develop Marvel's television and movies properties. He was an executive producer for, made cameo appearances in Marvel films, adaptations, and other movies. He obviously returned to comic book and writing and with various Super Server projects, including 1982 one-shot drawn by John Byrne, the Judgment Day graphic novel illustrated by John Buscema. The prior Pitbull, something like that, limited series was drawn by French artist Maribus, whatever you call it, and the Slavers graphic novel with Keith Pomeroy, something like that. Lee was briefly president in the retired company, which Marvel would you call it, but soon stepped down to be publisher instead, which is sad. No, finding that being president was too much about numbers of friends and fiancés, and not enough for the creative person he enjoyed. Beyond Marvel, Lee stepped away from the regular duties in Marvel's 1990s, but he continued to receive an annual salary of $1 million at chairman endorsements. In 1988, he and Peter Paul began new interest-based superhero creation, production, and marketing studio Stan Lee Media, which is, I don't know what happened to Stan Lee Media now, because he died already. He grew up to 165 people and went public throughout a reverse merger by immense banker Stan Manley in 1999. But never in the end, but near the end of 2000, there's discussed illegal stock merger by Paul. I felt bad. Commercial officer Simon Gordon, Stanley Media filed a, you kidding me? Chapter 11, bankruptcy protection, February of 2001. Stupid. Just stupid. Paul was returning from the U.S. and from Brazil and pleaded guilty for violating 10b-5 in connection with training and stock with Stanley Media, which is sad. Lee was never replaced in the same, is what we call it. In 2001, Lee, Gil Champion, and Arthur Lee formed Paul, Publishers of Wonder Entertainment, to develop film, television, and video game properties. Lee created the Recipe animated studio series distributed for Spike TV, which is now known as Paramount Network. Proud the success of Fox Studios' from X-Men film, Sony's current Spider-Man film, and Lee sued Marvel in 2002, which is sad, claiming that the company was failing to pay his share of private movies featuring the characters he had co-created. So as an employee. Lee did not own them. This is sad. But in the 1990s, after decades making little money, rising them for television and film, Marvel had promised him number 10% of a feature products. Okay, Lee and the company sold in 2005 and discovered 7-figure amount. 2004, Power Entertainment went public. Also that year, Lee announced a superhero program that would feature a former Beale Ringo Starr, which he is a drummer, by the way, as lead character. Eventually, he, in August of that year, Lee announced that launch of Stan Lee's Sunday Comics, which is good. A short-lived subscription service hosted by comicworks.com. From July 6, 2006 until September of 2007, Lee hosted, co-created, except produced, judged reality television game show conversions Who Wants to Be a Superhero on Sci-Fi Channel, which is good. On March 2007, after Stan Lee Media had been purchased by Jim Nicefield, the company filed a lawsuit against Marvel Entertainment for $5 billion. God! Claiming Lee has given the rights to several Marvel comics to Stan Lee Media. He engaged stock in the salary. In June 2007, Stan Lee Media sued Lee. His newer company, Pow Entertainment and Pow Queen Entertainment. You gotta be kidding me. What is your favorite comic by Stan Lee? I would say Spider-Man and other comics. I'll think about doing other things besides Spider-Man. I would say much about it, just want to let you know. It's a lot to exclaim, So I'll let you know. I'm saying that was a word, by the way. 2008, Lee Warhammer captures the providential Romney book. Stanley presents Original Days, where he's saying. In April that year, Bryan Partners and Rainmaker Animation announced a partnership with POW to produce a CGI film series, Radical the 5. Other projects led by Lee announced in the late 2000s, including a line of superheroes comics above Virgin Comics. A TV adaptation for the novel Hero, before to Skyscraper Man by Scrapsaver the Fire Safety, avoiding Spider-Man fan Dan Goodwin, which is good. A partnership with Guardian Media Entertainment and Guardian Project to create NFL superhero mascots. This is good. Which is good. And work with the Eagle and such as what we call it. Programs to define new talent in the comic book field. In October of 2011, Lee announced would partner with 1821 Comics in the new multimedia imprint for children. Stan Lee's Kids Universe, a move he said addresses that lack of comic books targeted at the scrummies that he had with collaborating with the comedy in his flourishing comics novel Romeo and Juliet the War, by writer Mike Work, and the artist Skurscom, whatever the word means. That's good. And his 2012 San Diego Comic Con International, Lee announced his YouTube channel, Stan Lee's Wall of Heroes, which is good. With generous programs created by Lee, Mark Hamill, which he did Luke Skywalker at the time, Peter David, Helen Carey, and Bonnie Byrne, among others. We wrote the book Sonic and released in January 2015 with Stuart Marr. The film Lance Stanley's and the Harry, or what we call it, based on the Chinese pioneer turned superhero named Ming, and another production since 2013 was released in 2015. Do you like the 2000 Spider-Man movies or the 2010 Spider-Man? I'll say both. I don't know about... I just don't know about how much you can see Spider-Man movies in style. I would say much about both because... number one, the first Spider-Man is... I didn't say it was awesome or it sucked. But, just about what you know and everything. But, when Ricky Manson did the Brit thing, it sucked. You just let him slide, just want to let you know and everything. But the other ones, like 2010s, it was awesome. Just to say that, so let's just say that, okay? But I just saw Spider-Man Homecoming last year, which is good. But I will see Spider-Man Into the Universe this year. Well, instead of this year, probably next year. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, in the later career, Lee's collaborations continue to span outside the style that he helped pioneer. An example that this is his first work for DC Comics in the 2000s, launching the Just Imagine series, in which Lee remanaged the DC superheroes Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and The Flash. Manga's projects involving Lee, including Curious Digital Ultima, collaboration with these three people. Because I can't speak Japanese, sorry. I got my breath. Okay. Jorge Taki, Visa Mia, and Shores Malaysia, and Herman Soares and Storage Tanks monthly started Garden with the Japanese company Bones. In 2011, Steve started writing a live action musical, The Yang and Yang Bao Tall. Okay. The period also saw a number of collaborations under Lee influence on this company, okay? Comics industry. In 2006, The Marvel commemorated Lee's 65 year with the company by publishing a year series of one-shot comics starring Lee himself, and interacting with many of his co-creations, including Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, The Thing, Super Server, and Doctor Doom. Okay? These comics are also featured short pieces by such comics creators as Josh Whedon and Freddie Himmick, as well as reprints of classically written adventures. And 2007, Comic-Con International, Marvel Legends, introduced a Stan Lee action figure. That's cool. The body beneath the figure, removable cold wardrobe, and is reuse mod in the previously released Spider-Man action figure with minor changes. Come Up Grace Expo, Los Angeles, largest comic book conventions, was rebranded as Stan Lee's Comic Case, replenished by Power Entertainment in 2012. In 2016, Comic-Con International, Lee's introduced this digital graphic novel, Stan Lee's God Walk. That's good. With text originally written poem he presented in Carnegie Hall in 1982. The print book version was won in 2017 Independent Publisher Books Awards Outstanding Books of the Year Independent Voice Award, which is good. Okay, charity work. The Stan Lee Foundation, founded in 2010, was focused on liberty and education in the arts. It stated goals include supporting programs and the ideas that improve supporting that liberty resources, as well as promoting diversity, national rarity, culture, and the arts. Lee is donated prominent in this virtual effect to University of Wyoming virtual times between 1981 and 2001. Hammer read the virtual portrayals of comics in Stan Lee. I'm not going to read what's in there because I'm out of breath right now. But anyway, personal life and death. I'm going to read these and I'll be done with this episode because I'm out of breath. Lee was raised in a Jewish family, and 2002 survey was wherever he believed in God. He stated, well, let me put it this way, pauses. No, I'm not going to try and be clever. I really don't know. I just don't know. From 1945 to 1947, Lee was rented top 4 with Brownstone and East 1990s Manhattan. He married Joan Gray Bocock. And on December 5th, 1947, in 1949, the couple bought a house in modern New York and Long Island. When they lived there from 1952 with their daughter, Joan J.C. Lee, was born in 1950. Another child, Jen Lee, died 3 days after the delivery in 1953. Are you seriously kidding me? The Lees resided along an island town of Harbor, New York, from 1952 to 1980. They also owned accommodation East 63rd Street, Manhattan, from 1975 to 1980. During the 1970s, owned a vacation home in Richmond, New York for they moved to the West Coast in 1981. They bought a home in West Hollywood, California, previously owned by comedian Jack Benny's radio announcer Don Wilson. Okay. In September 2012, Lee underwent an operation to interest in a pacemaker, just like Malcolm did, which required she canceling plans for appearances of conversations. On July 6, 2017, his wife of 69 years, Joan, died of complications from a stroke. She was 95 years old. On April 8, 2018, Hollywood Reporter published a report that claimed Lee was a victim of the abuse. That report affirms that, among others, Cam Morgan, business manager of Lee, and the Mario collector, has been others Lee to friends and family associated following his wife's death to get Lee's wealth, to be worth $50 million. In August 2018, Morgan was issued registration orders to stay away from Lee. Kidding me. His daughter associated with for 3 years. This is wrong. This is wrong. Stan Lee had passed away at the age of 95 at Center Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, on November 12, 2018, and being rushed into for medical emergency earlier in the day. Already that year, was relieved the public that he had been bound from mania. In February, was rushed into hospital with worsening conditions around the same time. Roy Thomas, receivingly, as either Chief Marvel, had visited Lee 2 years prior to his death to discuss the upcoming book, The Stan Lee Story, and stated, I think he was all ready to go, but he's still thinking about doing more cameos as long as he have the energy for it, and did have to travel. Stan was always up to do more cameos. He got a kick out of those before more than anything else. Rest in peace, Stan. We're gonna have more episode. We're gonna have another episode about the game segments. We're gonna have another episode about the 3 more segments coming up next on Friday's LukeJ62895. I'm gonna take a deep breath in this one. But anyways, that wraps up for this episode of Friday's LukeJ62895 for this edition. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're gonna do the game segments coming up next, and I hope you're gonna do 3 more segments up after this. But Mitchell, Brandon, get ready, because we're gonna do this next. But until next time, this is LukeJ saying goodbye. Peace out, baby. We're gonna do Friday's LukeJ62895 episode 223 coming up next. But until then, the Jeff saying out. See ya.